Today I am going to take sequence and series. So first we will discuss the concept of sequence and series, and after that we will discuss the binomial theorem and mathematical logic. So the entire today class is sequence series, binomial theorem and mathematical logic. So first we will discuss the concept in sequence and series. So a function whose domain is set of all natural numbers is called a sequence. The sum of the terms of sequence is called series. The sequence and series. Now I will give one example. Set of all an such that n belongs to n. So n belongs to n means domain is natural numbers. So that means the first position a1, a2, a3 and so on. These are terms of a sequence. A1 is first position, a2 is second position, a3 third position. These are terms of a sequence. This is a function. It has some terms. Now what is called series? What is called series? Sum of the terms. By adding the terms of a sequence, you will get the series. There is a difference between sequence and series. There are two types of sequences, finite and infinite. There is an ending in the sequence that is called finite sequence. That means a sequence contains finite number of terms, is a finite sequence. Infinite number of terms, infinite sequence. Just remember that point. Next, types of progressions or sequences. First one, arithmetic progression. What is arithmetic progression? A series in which each term except first term differ from its preceding terms by a fixed quantity is called an arithmetic progression. A series in which each term differ from its preceding term by a fixed quantity. That means the difference of a term and just before term is constant throughout the sequence. The sequence you call as a arithmetic progression. The fixed quantity is called common difference of the sequence. So now we are going to write the general AP. If A is first term, D is common difference of AP, then that AP is A plus D, A plus 2D and so on. You can add one more term, A plus n minus 1 into D and so on. This is a sequence. So what is the A plus n minus 1 term into D? That is called general term of a AP. So now we'll discuss the some properties of AP. So nth term of AP. If A is first term, D is common difference, then the nth term is denoted by Tn. Tn is A plus n minus 1 into D. To find any term of the sequence, you can use general term, that is Tn is A plus n minus 1 into D. That is called nth term. And sum of n terms, formula sum of n terms of AP is n by 2 into 2A plus n minus 1 into D. We have one more formula for finding sum of n terms, that is n by 2 into A plus L. So A is first term, L is last term. L is last term. If first term and last term is there, you can find the sum of n terms using a short formula n by 2 into A plus L. So you have to remember the two formulas for Sn, n by 2 into A plus n minus 1. The other formula Sn equal n by 2 into A plus L. So I hope clear this one. Next. Some properties of AP. If A1, A2, A3 and so on AP, then A2 minus A1, A3 minus A2 and so on, AN minus 1 is what? D. That means the difference of terms is constant, means that equal to D. So D is called the common difference. That is the first property. Next, sum of the terms equidistant from beginning and from the end is equal to sum of the first and last terms. Sum of the first and last terms. I'll give an example this case. You can take the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Observe sum of first term and last term 7. If you take middle terms, also 7. This is also 7. The sum of the terms equidistant from the beginning and from the end are equal. That is the meaning of this one. Now three terms in AP is chosen as A minus D, A and A plus D. Four terms in AP chosen as A minus 3D, A minus D, A plus D and A plus 3D. If you want five terms means five terms. Five terms means A minus 2D, A minus D, A plus D, A plus 2D. This type of model concepts are most important in CET. Three terms A minus D, A and A plus D. Four terms A minus 3D, A minus D, A plus D and A plus 3D. We have this type of questions. Three numbers are in AP. Okay. And sum is given and product is given. You have to find the number they will ask. That type of question they will ask in the concept of three numbers, four numbers and five numbers. You have to remember these conditions. The next, the ratio of sum to n terms of two APs is m by n. The ratio of orth terms of AP is given by Sn by Sn. So because the ratio of Sn by Sn dash, you can take n by 2 into a plus 2a1 plus n minus 1 d1 and n by 2 into a2 plus n minus 1 d2. After that, here n by 2 cancel. You'll get like this. Now again 2 take common from here. You take 2 common, the numerator a1 plus n minus 1 by 2 into d1 by the 2 common a2 plus n minus 1 to do d2. The 2 cancel, we'll get this one. So in this case, this is a Sn by Sn dash. How to get Tn by Tn dash or Tr by Tr dash? So you can replace n minus 1 by 2 by r minus 1. You'll get the ratio of the orth terms. So now if you want to take orth terms ratio, what you will do means n minus 1 by 2 equal to, you can take r minus 1. You get the ratio of the orth terms. So that means a1 plus r minus 1 into d by a2 plus r minus 1 into d. So in this case, you can take the relation n equal to 2r minus 1. If you substitute n equal to r minus 1 in the right side, okay, you will get the ratio of the orth terms. This point you can remember. I hope clear this one. Some problems, so this model problems are there. This formula you can use there only. So that what I told, n minus 1 by 2 is r minus 1. We get the ratio of orth terms. The nth term of sequence is linear in n, then the sequence is called AP. Nth term of sequence is linear. For example, I will take nth term as 2n plus 1. So the domain is natural number. So take n equal to 1, we'll get t1. t1 is 3. N equal to second position, t2 is, so 4 plus 1, 5. t3, 6 plus 1, 7. The sequence what? 3, 5, 7. This gives AP sequence. So we say that if there is a nth term which is in linear, always the sequence form AP. Next, sum of terms of sequence is quadratic in n, and the sequence is in AP. Suppose you are finding sum of n terms using formula n by 2 into a plus n minus 1d. So that comes in quadratic, the sequence always AP. Just these are points, some important, you can remember it. Now arithmetic mean. If ABC are in AP, then B equal to A plus C by 2. Then B equal to what? A plus, that is 2B equal to A plus C. How this comes means, if ABC are in AP means B minus A equal to C minus B. You can rearrange, you will get this property. So 2B equal to A plus C. Then the value of B is A plus C by 2. This is nothing but AM of A comma C. So AM means arithmetic mean of A comma C. We can take it as. So now we can define AM of two numbers. So AM of two numbers. A two numbers is average of two numbers by average of two numbers. So AM of A comma B means average means A plus B by 2. That is the AM of two numbers. You can extend this property for any number of numbers. And this is denoted by cap AM. So AM of n numbers is A1 plus A2 plus and so on AN by n. So that is sum of numbers by number of numbers. Next, n AMs between two numbers. And AN is, this is called nth AM. Nth AM is a different. So because you have to insert n AMs between two numbers, the nth AM is A plus n into B minus A by n plus 1. So I will explain this one little. A1, A2 and so on AN are n AMs between small a and small b. That means A, A1, A2, AN, B are from AP. If you insert n AMs between A and B, the resultant sequence AP. Here how many terms? Total n plus 2 terms. Along with AB, n plus 2 terms. So here B is n plus 2 term, that is Tn plus 2. So A plus first position, n plus 1 into D. So therefore D equal to B minus A by n plus 1. This is a common difference of this AP. Why I'm taking common difference? If you want to find the positions, we need common difference required. So that means we know only first and last positions are there. So we want to find A1 because the sequence AP means if you know that common difference, we'll get the value of A1. So that means A1 equal to A plus D, A2 equal to A plus 2D, and so on. AN equal to A plus ND. And what is the D value in this part? D equal to B minus A by N plus 1. N indicates number of AM, A and B are given numbers. So that is the formula for this one. But you have to remember what is the nth AM, A plus ND. What is the value of D? B minus A by N plus 1. I hope clear this one. Next, geometric progression, GP. A series in which each term is obtained by multiplying the preceding time by fixed quantity is called a geometric progression. A series in which each term is obtained by multiplying the preceding term. Before what you are taking common difference is same, that is sequence you call as a arithmetic progression. That means each term is obtained by multiplying preceding term by a fixed quantity. So for example, you can take A is the first term. You can multiply A with a fixed number. Suppose I multiply by R, AR, and again this by R, AR square, AR cube. This is. So I am multiplying first term by R, we get next position. Next term by R, we get next position. So we get the positions by multiplying a fixed quantity. The fixed quantity is called a common ratio. The fixed quantity is called common ratio. So this one A, AR square, AR cube. These are the terms of a sequence. So and also you can define another way. The ratio of a term and just before term is constant. That sequence you call as a geometric progression. If you take AR by A or AR square by AR, that means ratio should be same. That progression we call as a geometric progression. So what is general form? Like AP. A is first term, R is common ratio. There, common difference here, common ratio. Then its GP is A plus AR square plus AR cube and so on, AR power N minus 1. So there nth term A plus N minus 1D. Here nth term is AR power N minus 1. Clear this one? Next. What is nth term of GP? Tn is A into R power N minus 1. Clear? Here A is first term, R is common ratio. So now Sn. The different formulas are there, different combinations. Here Sn equal to A into 1 minus R power N by 1 minus R. Here R less than 1. And if R greater than 1, this is a formula for Sn. So A into R power N minus 1 by R minus 1 if R greater than 1. So if R equal to 1, it is Na only. So because there is no R means A, adding n times, that gives Na only. Sum to infinity, this is S infinity formula. Sum of infinite terms of GP is A by 1 minus R. Here condition is modulus R less than 1. This is a condition for. So always less between minus 1 plus 1. So clear now? What is Sn and S infinity for the sum of n terms? Same like sum of n terms of AP. Here also sum of n terms of GP. Now properties of GP. So three numbers in GP. Before AP what take A minus D, A and A plus D. Here ratio A by R, A, AR. So three terms A by R, AR and A. You can take the what three terms. Same thing, five numbers in GP taken as A by R square, A by R, A, AR square. There A minus 2D, A minus D, A. What I told. Same like that. Here A by R square, A by R, A, AR square. This is five terms. So same thing, four numbers. A by R cube, A by R, AR cube. So that is enough for 6 terms. They won't ask questions. So you can remember 3 terms, 4 terms, and 5 terms. That is more than sufficient. Clear? Next. Express recurring decimal as a rational fraction. If there is a recurring fraction, it means 0.6. For example, 0.666 is given. It is a recurring decimal. How to bring into rational fraction? So here after decimal point there is no 0 means you have to multiply with 10. After decimal there is a 1 0 multiply by 100. That is the logic here. So multiply by 10. So what comes here? 10x equal to 6.666. So that means the decimal part remains 0.666 is there. If you subtract these two, 10x minus x equal to 6 because the decimal part is cancelled. So here 9x equal to 6. 9x equal to 6. this from this to here, and this implies x equal to 6 by now. That is called a rational fraction for the recurring decimal. Understand here? After decimal, no zero means multiply by 10. 1 0 means multiply by 100 and subtract. Concept same only. So you will get the rational fraction type. Next, this is the most important property. If the terms are in GP, then log A1, log A2, log A3 are in AP. So understand what? If three numbers in GP, then log A1, log A2, log A3 are in GP. If three numbers in GP means A2 by A1 equal to A3 by A2, means A2 square equal to A1 A3. Apply log on both sides, we will get the terms. So that means if three numbers are GP, log of the numbers always AP only. Just remember the property. So definition of GM. GM is geometric mean. Geometric mean of n positive integers is given formula nth root of A1, A2, A3 and so on, an whole power 1 by n. So now here one more point, GM of two numbers. So you can A2 equal to root of A1, A3. So this is GM of A1, comma A3. So GM of two numbers is the square root of the product of two numbers. So if n numbers are there, nth root of the product of the numbers. That is called general formula for nth GM. So along here, this is G. G is root AB. So that is G is GM of A comma B. That value is root AB. This is for two numbers. This is for n numbers. Same like that, before n AMs we put in between two numbers, n GMs between two numbers A comma B. So nth GM is a formula. Before you got nth AM, A plus ND. D is B minus A by N. Here you want ratio. Here R equal to B by A whole power 1 by N plus 1. Clear now? That is here. So here we got common ratio R equal to B by A whole power 1 by N plus 1. So now we can take it. Just remember formula. Some important observations. If each term of GP is multiplied or divided by a fixed number, then the resulting sequence also GP. If there is GP sequence, if you multiply with a fixed number, the resulting sequence also GP. If you divide also, the sequence is GP, the property. So x1, x2, x3, y1, y2, y3, two GPs. In the terms by pre-multiplying the first positions, second position, the resulting sequence also GP. If you divide also corresponding term, the resulting sequence is GP. These are properties only. X1, X2, XGP positive terms, then log X1, log X2 are in AP and vice versa. Means the numbers are in GP, logarithm of numbers is always AP, and reverse, logarithm of numbers are in AP, the numbers are in GP. This is the most important property. Next, harmonic progression. A sequence of numbers said to be HP if their reciprocals in AP. That means reciprocals of AP gives harmonic progression. So that is HP you can write as. HP means harmonic progression. X1, X2, X3 are in HP means the reciprocals means 1 by X1, 1 by X2, 1 by X3 and so on. 1 by Xn are in AP. I hope clear this one. Here there is no standard sum of n terms of HP. So only you have to take terms which are reciprocals of AP. So general, if A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D are in AP, then the reciprocals 1 by A plus D, 1 by A plus 2D are in HP. Here nth term, if you want, you can take 1 by A plus n minus 1D. That is nth term of HP. Next, for two terms, not two terms here. So there is small correction. Here A, B, C are in HP. Then you call that B equal to 2AC by A plus C. So this is called HM. We discussed AM, sum of numbers by number of numbers. That means A plus B by 2. We got GM, G equal to root AB. Now HM, arithmetic mean of two numbers. So that means ABC are in HP, P equal to 2AC by A plus C. Or you can take this one as 2 by B equal to 1 by A plus 1 by C. From this you can get the B value, that is 2AC by A plus C. Now HM of two numbers is this the formula HM. HM is 2AB by A plus B. So now finally AM you can remember as A plus B by 2. GM is root AB for two numbers. HM is 2AB by A plus B. If any two terms are given, the AM of two numbers is A plus B by 2. GM is root AB. HM is 2AB by A plus B. So this you have to remember. And relation between AM, GM, HM is AM always greater than GM greater than HM. This property is most important for competitive exams. Clear? That is for HP. Simply HP is reciprocals of AP. Now summation of series. Sigma A means sigma M is add A n times. So that means here sigma M is n equal to 1 to n. A plus A plus A n times you can add to get the answer NA. So now how to apply sigma for the expression. Here ABC are constants. Take outside sigma x square B into sigma x C into sigma 1. What is the value of sigma 1? Sigma 1 means 1 plus 1 plus 1 n times. So that means sigma 1 value 1 plus n times. Sorry. Sigma 1 is 1 plus 1 plus 1 n times. Adding n 1 times means 1 into n, that is n. The value of sigma 1 is n. Keep in mind. Next, the value of sigma n. Sigma n is sum of natural numbers n into n plus 1 by 2. So this this formula, sum of the natural numbers n into n plus 1 by 2. So these formulas you have to memorize. Next, sum of the squares of natural numbers. Sigma n square is n into n plus 1 and 2n plus 1 by 6. Sigma n cube is sum of the cubes of natural numbers, that is n into n plus 1 by 2 whole square, or you can write n square into n plus 1 whole square by 4. So it's easy to remember. Sum of natural number whole square is sum of the cubes of natural numbers. So that way you can remember formula. I hope clear. Sigma n square, sigma n cube, and sigma 1. So these values we are using on solving problems. Next, there is series AGP, arithmetic geometric series. Arithmetic geometric series you can call as AGP. So the series of the form a into 1, a plus d into r, a plus 2d into r square, and so on, a plus n minus 1 into r power n. So observe the terms. First position is AP. Second position is 1 r square GP. The sum of the product of the terms of AP and GP called AGP. That means in which each term is product of the corresponding terms of AP and GP is called arithmetic geometric progression. If there is AP, A plus D, A plus 2D, GP 1 R square or cube. If you multiply corresponding terms and then add it to get the series, that series you call as a arithmetic geometric series, or you can call as arithmetic geometric progression. We call as shortly AGP. So this type questions also little important mains level. So sum of n terms of AGP is a huge formula. Just you have to remember. So they won't ask any questions based on nth term. So they will ask the questions based on infinite terms. Sum of infinite terms of AGP, that is most important, is formula. So here a by 1 minus r, dr by 1 minus r whole square for Sn, dr power n by 1 minus r whole square. This is a big formula. So it is difficult to remember for the formula. But we'll get S infinity from this formula. R is very small because R is always less than very small. So that means if you take R power n as 0, R power n tends to 0, n tends to what? Infinity. As n tends to infinity, R power n becomes 0. Here R power n 0, here R power n 0. That means to get the S infinity is this one. Because R is very small, if n is infinity, R power n gives 0. The formula is S infinity A by 1 minus R plus dr by 1 minus. This formula you have to memorize. Sum of infinite terms. Not only this chapter we can use in probability, you can use in trigonometry. So so many cases we are using S infinity formula. Okay, just remember formula. So sum of here what is required? A required, D required, R required. A and D from AP, first factors. Second factors gives GP. So there you can get the value of common ratio. Substitute the formula to get the sum to infinite terms of GP. Next, there are special problems. Summation of series by method of differences. So if the difference between two conjugate terms of the series in AP or GP, then nth term of the series can be computed by using method of differences. Sum to n terms can be obtained by using the relevant formula. Because there are some proofs, you can use this method, you can get the solution. That is called method of differences. So method of partial fractions. In this method, nth term Tn can be resolved into using by partial fractions. By taking sigma of Tn, T1 plus T2 plus and so on, the sum of n terms can be easily solved. Because we will solve the problem, there I will discuss the where it is helpful for you. Is it clear? So now next. There are some time saving results. Sum of the odd natural numbers is n square. This is the most important. Sum of odd natural numbers, sum of even natural numbers, sum of natural numbers. You have to remember formula. Sum of even natural numbers. This also you can note down if you want. So that is nth term is 2n. So n into n plus 1. If you take 2 common, you get sum of natural numbers. Sum of natural numbers n into n plus 1 by 2. 2 to cancel, will get n into n plus 1. Or you can write n square plus n. So even natural number sum is n square plus n. Odd natural number sum is n square. And this is one type of series. So you just remember formula. So after this one, this is the AGP. This is what AGP n terms. First factor is 1, 2, 3 AP. Second factor is x square, x cube, GP. You call as AGP. So this some time saving result only. You just remember the formula. I hope clear this one. Next, we'll go for binomial. So binomial theorem for integral index. So a plus b whole power n is here nc0 missing. So that means nc0 a power n, nc1 a power n minus 1 b, nc2 a power n minus 2 into b square and so on. ncr a power n minus r b power r plus and so on. Last is ncn b power n. This is the expansion for a plus b whole power n. Here the two terms are missing. So because of nc0 value 1, that's why they didn't write. So the first term is nc0 a power n, nc1, nc2 and so on, ncr, ncn b power n. So that means the second term observe nc1 a power n minus 1. The powers of a decreasing, powers of b is increasing till the end from n to 1, and for a powers decreasing by 1, b powers increased by 1. The starting a power n, ending b power n. So how to calculate NCR? So NCR is nothing but n factor by n minus r factor into r factorial. So these are NC0, NC1, NC2 and so on. NCN are binomial coefficients. So the values NC0, NC1, NC2, NCR, NCN are binomial coefficients. Binomial coefficients. So how to find binomial coefficient? You use the formula NCR equal n factor by n minus r factor into r factor formula I can apply. So some important terms of binomial theorem. There are n plus 1 terms in the expansion of a plus b whole power n. So how it is n plus 1 terms? The starting with nc0, that's why. So ending by ncn, the total number of terms are n plus 1 terms. The expansion of a plus b whole power n is a homogeneous polynomial of degree n in a and b. The expansion we can call as homogeneous polynomial of degree n. So because n is positive integer, that's why we call as a polynomial of degree n in a and b. So here when you are solving problems, ncr equal to ncn minus r. The binomial coefficients are symmetric about the center, this is not about center, about the center. So that means nc0 is same as ncn, nc1 same as ncn minus, according to this formula. So nc2 same as ncn minus 2 and so on. That means the binomial coefficients are symmetry about the center, means middle. So nc0 equal to ncn, nc1 equal to ncn minus 1, nc2 equal to ncn minus 2 and so on. Now general term of the expansion, this is the most important for us. If you want to find any term of the expansion a plus b whole power n, so the general term tr plus 1 is ncr a power n minus r b power r. This is called general term of a binomial expansion a plus b whole power n. So here nc0, ncr a power n minus r b power r. r equal 0, you get first position, r equal 1, second position, if you want any term of the expansion, you can use general term. Next, middle terms. If the index is odd, the number of terms in the expansion is even. If n is odd, there are two middle terms. So there are two middle terms, and if it is even, the number of terms is odd means 1. So there is only one middle term. So that means n is odd, two middle terms. Two middle terms. These terms are n plus 1 by 2 and n plus 3 by 2 terms. So that means if n is odd, there are two middle terms which are n plus 1 by 2 and n plus 3 by 2. So two middle terms. Suppose n is even, only one middle term. One middle term, that is n plus 2 by 2. So here odd, there are two middle terms, n plus 1 by 2 and n plus 3 by 2. If n is even, only one middle term, that is n plus 2 by 2. I will write clearly, n plus 2 by 2 term is middle term. Sometimes they will ask to find the middle term of the expansion. So depends on the power, you can get the number of middle terms. So if n is odd, two middle terms will be possible. So those terms are n plus 1 by 2 and n plus 3 by 2. So how to get the terms? Using general term. So if n is even, only one middle term, that is n plus 2 by 2 term is middle term. Clear? What I told, the coefficients are binomial coefficients. So sometimes you can write as short form nc0 as c0, nc1 as capital C1, nc2 as capital C2. So like ncr is capital CR and so on. They are all called binomial coefficients. That means CR means NCR. Don't confuse about NCR and CR. Next, some properties of binomial coefficient. Sum of the binomial coefficients is 2 power n. How this comes means, if you take the expansion of 1 plus x whole power n, that is c0 means nc0 plus c1x plus c2x square and so on, cr x power r plus and so on, cn x power n. Because how this comes, c0, c1x, c2x square means the first a is 1, b is x. A is 1 means the first term is 1 into binomial coefficient. Second term, x powers are increased by 1. The last is n. So in this case, you have to remember this formula also. General term in the 1 plus x whole power n is ncr x power r. Or you can write cr x power r also. The general term in the expansion of 1 plus x whole power n is ncr x power r. So how to get the sum of the binomial quotient? In the expansion, substitute x equal to 1 to get all the coefficients. If we substitute x equal to 1, c0, c1 into 1, c2 into 1 square. On the right side, 1 plus 1 what? 2 power n to get the formula. So the sum of the binomial coefficients is 2 power n. Suppose we want sum of the terms alternately positive negative. Substitute x equal to minus 1. Here 1 minus 1 what? 0. Therefore, the alternate series is means c0, c1, c3 minus c3 and so on, minus 1 power n cn is what? 0. This is also sometimes they will ask for objective questions. Sum of the binomial 2 power n. Sum of the terms alternative positive negative is 0. Next, sum of the odd suffixes equal to sum of the even suffix binomial coefficients. So that equal 2 power n minus 1. So this is one formula, just remember here. Sum of the even suffixes, sum of the odd suffixes means sum of the odd terms, sum of the even terms equal to 2 power n minus 1. So now sum of the squares of the binomial coefficient, the formula is 2n factorial by n factorial whole square. All these formulas you have to memorize for time saving. Sum of the binomial 2 power n, sum of the squares of binomial coefficient 2n factorial by n factorial whole square. Clear? That is this formulas you have to remember. And this also, all these are identities. Next, this also an identity. So c0 plus c1 by 2 plus c2 by 3 and so on, cn by n plus 1 is 2 power n plus 1 minus 1 by n plus 1. So here c0 cr, c1 cr plus 1, c2 cr plus 2 and so on, cn minus r, cn is 2n factorial by, so n minus r factorial into n plus r factorial. This you can write as 2nc n plus r also can write here. Or you can write 2nc n minus r also can write. Both are equal. So that means sum of the product of the corresponding terms of C0 CR C1 CR plus 1 is nothing but 2n factor by n minus r factor into n plus r factor. So they will ask questions based on this. Important property this one. In mains level, not in CET level. Next C1, 2C2, 3C3 and so on. NCN is n into 2 power n minus. This is also another property. Next, before we discuss the problems for power is positive integer. If power is negative integer, the value of 1 plus x whole power minus n is 1 minus nx plus n into n minus 1 by 2 factor into x square minus n into n minus 1 n minus 2 by 3 factor into x cube. Same expansion, but here n alternately positive negative comes here. So this is the expansion of 1 plus x whole power minus n. So in the expansion of x plus a whole power n, the ratio of the two conjugate terms. This is also another important property. The ratio of the two conjugate terms, tr plus 1 by tr is n minus r plus 1 by r into a by x. That means the ratio of r plus 1 and r terms is n minus r plus 1 by r into x. And here also you can remember the ratio of two binomial coefficients. These are conjugative. The NCR by NCR minus 1 is n minus r plus 1 by r. This formula also very useful formula in this chapter. So the number of terms in the expansion of x plus a whole power n minus x minus a whole power is n by 2 if n is even. So n plus 1 by 2 in number is what? Odd. If n is odd, the number of terms are n plus 1 by 2. If n is even, n by 2. So the number of terms in the expansion of x plus a whole power minus x minus a whole power n is n by 2 if n is even. So n plus 1 by 2 if n is odd. So suppose you can take x plus a whole power n, x minus a whole power n. So in this case, the number of terms, so in the expansion of x plus a whole power n, x minus a whole power n is n plus 1 by 2 if n is odd. So here even means same thing will come here. So here n plus 1 by 2 if n is odd. X plus a whole power, x minus a whole power is n plus 1 by 2 if n is odd. So if n is even case, odd case, the number of terms are equal in both the what expansions. If x plus a whole power, x minus a whole power n is n plus 1 by 2 if n is odd. So n is even, n plus 2 by 2 terms. So this is important for CET question. They give expansion of how many terms in the expansion. After expanding, they will ask questions. I hope clear this one. The time saving result only. Next, the mathematical logic. Mathematical logic. So this is a very logical topic and also interesting topic. And here, very simple topic. If you are good in English, you can solve the questions in this topic. What is called proposition? There are some terms you have to remember. A proposition is a statement which is in the given context is either true or false or not both. Either true or false or not both. That is called a proposition. So that you call as a statement. The truth value or the falsity of proposition is true is called truth value. False means falsity. The truth or the falsity of a proposition is true is called truth value. False means it is a falsity. So if the proposition is true, if its truth value is denoted by T, if it is false, a truth value denoted by capital F. So in this topic, we have to discuss the problems on the statements. The truth value is denoted by capital E and false value is denoted by capital F. So this is topic you learn in the first year, and just recap the statements. It's a very simple topic one. For example, 5 is a prime number. It is a proposition, means a statement, and its truth value is 2. 5 is clearly prime number. That is clear. Sun rises in the west. Is it correct? It is a statement, but statement is wrong. We can call as falsy, capital F. Good morning. It is not a statement. It is not a statement. This is normally using the statement. This is not a statement. Clear now? It's not a proposition. Clear now? Now next. Compound proposition. What is called compound statement? The propositions are connected by combining two or more propositions by using the phrases not, or, and, if, then, if and only if are called the compound propositions. A proposition corrected by combining two or more propositions by using not, or, and, if, then, if and only if are called compound propositions. We have to find the truth value of the compound propositions by knowing the truth values of the simple propositions. The method of determining the truth value of compound proposition is called the logical inference. That means when you take the truth value of compound statement is called a logical inference. That means this is called mathematical logic. How to take the truth values for not, or, if, then, and if and only if. That means compound proposition. That is called the logical inference. So next continuation, negation. The negation of proposition P is denoted by negation P. We call as negation this symbol. So and read as not P. So means not P means truth value of negation is false. Means P is truth value T, its negation is false. P truth value is false, so its negation is 3. That means just opposite of P. Next, conjunction. If P and Q are two propositions, then conjunction of P and Q is denoted by P and Q. You can read as this is called and. And raised as P and Q, you can read as the truth table for P and Q is given by this is. So that means when you take the truth value P and Q, you can describe TT, TF, FT, and FF combinations. So how to remember this one? If both are true, the truth value will P and reaction is 2, otherwise always false. That means if both are true, it is 2. If any one of them false, it is false. Both are false, also false. That means both two are true. It is the truth value is 2. Otherwise, it's false. That way, you have to remember the last column. You have to remember from the data. Okay, if both are true, it is 2. Otherwise, it's always false. This is called conjunction. Next, disjunction. Just opposite. So conjunction is this type. Disjunction is this one. This we call as or and or. So understood now here. So P and Q are two propositions. Then the disjunction of P and Q is denoted by P or Q, not and. P or Q is denoted by P or Q, and is raised as P or Q. The truth value for P or Q is what? Both are false, it is false, otherwise true. Before one, both are true, true, otherwise false. Here, both are false, false, otherwise it's true only. That point you can remember only here. That is for or. Clear now? That is called disjunction. Implication or conditional. That is called if then. If P and Q are two propositions, then the conditional is if then Q is denoted by P implies Q. So and read as P implies Q or if then P. If P then Q, you can read that means the truth table for this one. Here P is called hypothesis and Q is called conclusion. So here P and Q. In this case, what we have to remember? So only if it is how the truth table. First P is true, false, that gives falsy. Otherwise, if it is always true only, that we have to remember that one. First for conjunction, next disjunction, next implication. So in the conjunction, both are true, true. Otherwise, it is always false. So in disjunction, both are for false, other cases true. But here TF gives F. The remaining case always true only. That you have to memorize. Other truth table for what? Conditional means if then P. So the symbol for if then P is P implies Q. Next, by conditional. That is called implication and by implication. If P and Q are two propositions, then the by conditional of P and Q is given as P if and only if Q. So means by implied and by implied by. If and only if means implication and by implication together. That is called the by conditional equivalence. So if and only if means implied and implied by. In this case, what? Both are true, true. Both are false, true. Otherwise, it's always false. If both the P and Q are true, it is true. Both P and Q are false, it is false. It is true, sorry. Otherwise, it's always false. That means both true, true, both false, true, otherwise it is false only. That is way to remember the condition. It's called by implication condition. I hope clear. And you have to remember the four tables: inverse, converse, and contrapositive. This is most important. So this type of questions will ask in the CET examination. So P implies Q is given implication, then negation of P implies negation of is called inverse. So inverse of this proportion is negation of P implies negation of Q. So if you reverse it, that is called converse. So that means P implies Q, converse is Q implies P. That is called converse. Sometimes they will ask write the converse of the statement. You just reverse it to get the answer for this one. If then means then P, if P then Q means converse is if Q then P, just as simple can write. Now what is called inverse? Inverse means negation of P then negation of Q, that is called inverse. Next, contrapositive. That means converse of inverse. Converse of inverse is nothing but contrapositive. So that is converse of inverse is called contrapositive. So first remember what is implication. Okay, for implication converse is Q to P and inverse is negation of P to negation of Q. For this one converse is nothing but contrapositive. So this they will ask questions. Write the inverse, write the contrapositive. You have to memorize that one. First converse is just reverse it. Inverse means negation of P to negation of Q. So these are the terms which are very 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 important in CET. So now truth table is given by. So general, how to take the truth table? PQ, negation of P, negation of. So truth values. If it is negation of true means false. False means true. Okay. Implication. What implication concept? Implication true, false gives but false. Otherwise true only. So that means this case F remaining case are true only. So negation of Q implies negation of P. Just observe negation of Q to negation of P. This to this. F T T. So T what T? It is T. Next negation of Q to P. You're taking negation of P to negation of Q. That means FFT. TF is F. Clear now? FT is T. TT is T only. And Q to P. Q to P. So that means then means what happened? T F means F. Otherwise it is true only. So now Q to TT means T. FT. FT is T. TF is F. And you can fill the table according to definition. So sometimes there are the truth value for the final. You can get the answer from this only. There is a two terms. There is a tautology and contradict. So that means the tautology means all the final terms are true. We call as a tautology. What I'm saying, if the complete final answer is entire thing is true, here also entire thing is true, that is called tautology. So what we call as tautology. So tautology. Tautology means the entire thing is true. Complete is true, that is called tautology. So complete is false, that is called contradiction. So tautology opposite is contradiction, or you can call as falsy simply. So contradiction, tautology, the two terms you have to remember. If the truth value is final step is entire thing is true, that is called tautology. If it is completely false, you can call as falsy or contradiction. Okay, so that point you can remember. I hope clear this one. So this is the synopsis for today class. So we will discuss the problems so the after the class. So I hope understand everyone.